wrestling fans. It is Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. Welcome to the State of the Union edition of the Kayfabe Nightly News. I'm your host, Jake Shannon. Tonight's episode is hosted by CatchCon 2026 Las Vegas. Visit catchcon.us. Learn from Pat Militich, Frank Shamrock, and some of the greatest coaches on the planet. Also enter to win a chance at $1,000. Ladies and gentlemen, the timing is impeccable. The promoter dropped the Epstein $3 million on Friday to let it die over the weekend. And tonight, that very same promoter turns on the brightest lights in the business for the State of the Union address. This is classic misdirection booking. While the marks are tuning in to see who claps and who sits, the real story, the Blackmail Files, is being swept under the red carpet. Here's the Kayfabe breakdown for tonight's collision of the cover-up, and the coronation. We're going to call this the memory hole high spot. The move? The State of the Union is really the ultimate distraction spot. The media has spent the last 72 hours pivoting from Pedo Island to bipartisan unity. So what's the work? Well, tonight's speech is designed to pop the crowd with jingoist nationalist rhetoric so deafening that you forget that the Department of Justice just admitted to withholding 50% of the evidence. So what's the shoot? The State of the Union isn't a speech, it's a neuralizer. By tomorrow morning, the Epstein dump will be old news buried under analysis of who wore white and who fell asleep during the president's speech. The front row kayfabe. So the visual tonight, watch the camera pans. You're going to see senators, CEOs clapping in the front row who were undoubtedly in the redacted John Doe columns on Friday. The work? They're projected as patriots and leaders. The shoot? This is really the protected roster. They're allowed to keep up their push because the promoters, i.e. the intel agencies or black chambers, hold the missing pages over their heads. Their applause isn't loyalty, it's compliance. The pocket ace tease. The angle? Will the president go off script and mention the list? The ring psychology. He might tease it, threaten to declassify the rest to get a cheap pop from the base. But the finish? Don't hold your breath. If he actually named names, the feed would be cut. The blackmail ring is the structural steel holding the U.S. government together. You don't pull the pin on the grenade while you're standing in the room. The State of the Union as a hostage video. Post-fight analysis? Well, I imagine it's going to look a lot like looking at the Speaker of the House behind the president, looking at the Joint Chiefs. So what's the shoot? You aren't watching a government work. You're watching a Mexican standoff. The Epstein leverage ensures that everyone in the room sticks to the script. The State of the Union is strong only because the state of the blackmail is absolute. The dissident litmus test. The observation? Tonight, watch your favorite anti-establishment influencers. The shoot? If they're live streaming the State of the Union and ignoring the Epstein cover-up, then they are getting worked more than anybody. The shoot? The smart mark ignores the pageantry of the speech. The real State of the Union is in the 3 million pages they didn't show you on Friday. So what's the play? You can always boycott the kayfabe. You don't have to give them ratings. The pivot? While the rest of the country is mesmerized by the State of the Union theatrics, use this time to dig into the unredacted corners of the internet. The truth is being discussed in the indies, in the shoots, on X, Telegram, maybe even YouTube, but definitely not on the network news. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Jake Shannon. This is the Kayfabe Nightly News. Guys, remember, you got to get out to CatchCon 2026 Las Vegas. We're going to be filming the Shoot Pro Wrestling Season 2. You could be a part of it. I highly recommend you get involved. I think we sold 3 tickets this week, and we're still 5 months out. Guys, this will sell out. This is going to be the event of the season. CatchCon.us. Check out everything you get. We had an incredible inaugural event last year. You can go check out what that looked at. Go watch our season that we filmed, season 1, shootpro.tv. Pat Militich, the president of Shoot Pro and now partner with Scientific Wrestling, will be there. Frank Shamrock, who is the chairman of Shoot Pro and one of my old coaches, will be there. Of course, I'll be there. The Scientific Wrestling elite coaches will be there. But we also have upcoming rising coaching star, JJ Howland, is going to be there, as well as Carolyn Wester from Wrestling Prep. You guys, this is going to be the event. Trust me, check it out. It's unbelievable. And again, guys, appreciate you. And I'll see you next time on the Kayfabe Nightly News.